Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to another episode of the Fight Pit Podcast.
Episode 16, Summerslam 2016.
Let's go.
Oh, and obviously you already know why we did this, because the biggest spot that happened in this entire card, first off, John Cena versus AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Those two are like, goodness.
Some crazy matches.
Obviously, you know what happened between Orton and Lesnar, with Lesnar just making Orton bleed UFC style. And Cena versus AJ Styles may have been one of the best matches of the year.
Straight banger.
Banger. Like he's Sheamus. But we started off with not a banger. Enzo and Kaz versus Jericho.
It was okay.
It was alright.
It wasn't a banger, but it was okay.
Before the match actually started, Enzo and Kaz, they quoted Biggie, "It was all a dream." And then the rest of the crowd sung, "We used to read Word Up magazine." I know, yeah, I don't
know the words.
I love that song, though. But yeah, Enzo and Kaz versus Jericho. And they were talking about how, like, Enzo, he's doing all this stuff. They're in New York, and Corey Graves was like, "Enzo's from New Jersey." And Kaz is from New York, though, so I guess they're hometown boys. They're in the backyard of Enzo. But yeah, at the beginning, it was Enzo and Kaz who were in control. There was probably the first big spot. Like, for real, this match wasn't good. Like, to start off SummerSlam, no. It was okay. It's just, like, not one of the biggest matches. The first big spot was Kaz throwing Enzo into Owens and Jericho.
Just straight up Braun Strowman to Ricochet style. Just heaves him over the top rope.
And then there was a funny spot when Owens was on the apron. Jericho was legal, beating up Enzo, and he started mocking Enzo doing that dance. This is 2016 Owens. This is like peak comedy Kevin Owens. Yeah. Where he's heel Kevin Owens, and he is laying people out and mocking them.
I was about to say, he's mocking people left and right.
Making Roman Reigns laugh at house shows. You've seen that, right?
I think I've seen it before, yeah.
Yeah, they work over Enzo pretty much most of the match, trying to keep him away from Kaz, who's trying to get the hot tag. There was a beautiful frog splash on Enzo. Like, Owens jumped from the top rope.
It was basically coast to coast, essentially.
He's like, Owens is around at least 280.
Yeah.
260, something like that. His frog splash is one of the best, though. And you can tell when he hits that mat, there is impact. And it was beautiful.
Definitely one of the, like, top 5 frog splashes that I've seen.
Eventually, Kaz did get the hot tag. They tried the bada boom shakalaka.
What kind? That's how you know you're.
That's the best tag team finisher.
That's how you know they're New Yorkers, if they call their finisher bada boom shakalaka.
But they didn't get it. But I did think that DDG from Enzo was.
That
cool.
was nice.
They said, Corey said the DDG. It was a DDT, but he jumped from the top, and it was like a satellite DDT, I think, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. He like turned at the last second and pulled him down.
But
flatliner. The
ending of the match came when Kevin Owens, looking for that pop-up powerbomb, that's what you thought it was. He
straight up pops up Enzo into a code breaker by Chris Jericho.
That was insane. He threw him behind him and just code breaker. It was like...
It was almost perfection. I think Jericho was a little late, but he timed it well enough to where it looked like it was effective.
It was devastating. But yeah... We had Jericho win the match, which, I didn't care.
Doesn't really do anything.
Nothing, no storyline other than, oh, look, we beat Enzo and Kaz.
Yeah, that's really not much more to it.
But yeah, then after that, we had the GMs and the commissioners backstage. It was Mick Foley with Stephanie and Brian with Shane O'Mac. So... They had a little segment with Jon Stewart, who, remember at the last WrestleMania, he interfered in the freaking main event. I don't even understand why, like, Seth Rollins versus John Cena, unifying the United States and WWE Championship. I'm just going to say
it. Jon Stewart's a goober, bro.
He is.
He's stupid.
But the New Day, they came back with them, and Jon Stewart, like, he was talking some trash like of Stephanie, and Stephanie was behind him. Oh, is she behind me? He's so cringe.
He tries to make himself funny, but it doesn't work.
But, okay, some of these matches, like SummerSlam 2016 was very hit and miss. Some of them were bad.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them were match of the year
Very,
contenders.
very
And I'm
hit and
very
miss.
happy to say that this next one was a match of the year contender. Charlotte
Yes.
Flair versus Sasha Banks for the
Very,
Raw
very
Women's
good
Championship. Yeah, you can start this one off.
So, it starts off very quick. Like, it starts off with, I believe, they're just circling around the ring to start, and then they get into a couple collar and elbow tie-ups. And then you just have Charlotte, while she's in the corner with Sasha, push off, do her famous, woo!
Sasha tried for the bank statement almost
Very,
immediately.
very early.
I did want to mention her theme song. I kind of forgot about it because obviously Sasha's not in WWE, and when she left WWE, she had a different theme song. But
Right.
this theme song was iconic.
Yes.
Had a dream I had it made, yeah, and I did about it, yeah. But yeah, Sasha was in control for most of the match, and the storyline going into this and going into most of their matches was that Sasha never wins at the pay-per-views, and Charlotte always
wins.
loses at Raw.
Yeah.
Like, she loses the championship to Sasha on Monday Night Raws. But
Stupid.
But Sasha always blunders when it comes to the big time. Dude. Early in the match, really, like, probably not even a quarter of the way through, Charlotte had Sasha on the top rope, did a sidewalk slam. Sasha's legs hit the top rope, and she landed right on her neck.
Ooh.
Like, for real. I feel like
was
that could have
brutal.
been an
It was.
injury. But it wasn't.
Surprised she
luckily.
didn't injure herself in that moment.
Yeah, after
It looked
that-
nasty.
After that, they were working Sasha's back the entire time. Commentary saying her back is bad, her back is bad.
Yeah.
And Charlotte was going after that the entire time. There was a gory special by Charlotte, which was kind of cool because Sasha, it's obviously known that Sasha's idol is Eddie Guerrero, and that gory
Yeah.
special is his move. Or
You
at least
also-
in his family.
Yeah, you also don't see that move very often either, so.
It's a great move. Charlotte was working Sasha's back, and she was trying for a razor's edge from the middle rope, which I feel like that would have been the end of the match. But
yeah.
Sasha countered it into a Hurricane Rana. The crowd was going crazy, and I was going crazy.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then there was a Boston Crab between the turnbuckles.
Oh my goodness, that looks so,
Yeah,
so
Charlotte-
brutal.
Charlotte was like between the top and middle turnbuckle, and Sasha
She was
just had
just
that
hanging
Boston
there,
Crab.
and
then
Sasha just kept putting more torque into that. I was like, ow.
So you had that story of Sasha's back getting worked. After Sasha put her in that Boston Crab, there was another story that developed that Charlotte's back is also kind of hurt. So they were both going after each other's backs.
Yes.
Really just trying to, paralyze each other.
Yeah.
If they can't win the championship, there's going to
Might
be...
as well take out each other. If I don't get it, then you don't get it either.
And then Sasha hit the knees to the spine, which I've
Yeah.
always thought that move, like...
That's brutal.
It's all because you can see
Brutal.
their spines bend the wrong way every
Yeah.
time. Which I'm sure Sasha's not that much. She doesn't weigh that much. I'm
Right.
sure it's not horrible, but I can
Still-
imagine it hurts.
Still looks extremely brutal either way.
And the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." There was a meteora from the middle rope to
Yeah.
the floor, which was very good. That's not just from the middle rope to the mat in the ring. That's
It was
from
to the floor.
That's probably, I don't know, at least 8 feet, something like that.
Big drop.
Yeah, there was a natural selection into the bank statement, and
Oh, yeah.
Sasha was almost about to get it. Charlotte was able to escape, and then there was a natural selection that she actually hit. That got a near fall. And there was a nice tilt-a-whirl into the bank statement.
Yeah.
And as she had her in the bank statement, she was pulling it
Yeah.
too hard, and then Charlotte was able to get the
she
pin.
turned that pressure and got the pin.
1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
Charlotte beat Sasha for the championship after Sasha had just
crazy.
beaten her. So I really liked this rivalry in general, and
Oh, yeah.
this match was amazing.
Like, they had a lot of rivalries between the four horsewomen during this time.
Yeah.
And you saw a lot of those great feuds between the four of them.
Yeah, so that was definitely one of the matches of the night, maybe match of the year. I'm not sure what was the match of the year this year.
I
but,
don't know. I would have to look at it. I don't remember.
Yeah, then we went backstage, and obviously after the draft, AJ Styles got drafted to SmackDown and Gallows and Anderson to Raw.
Yeah.
I think Balor was at Raw too. But
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was, because he was the first Universal Champion.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But we basically had the OC back there, Gallows and Anderson, and their freaking doctor gimmicks, and I just remember this being...
We gotta find the cure for ring postitis.
Dude, this sucked. I hated their gimmick.
I am honestly glad with how they're booking them now. Because they're making them... Well, they're at least making Carl Anderson look strong.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm gonna pull away a little bit. I didn't watch, but I think I watched a video from Santi's app where he talked about he believes the Good Brothers can do a lot, but he feels like Luke Gallows is holding back the Good Brothers a lot, and that Carl Anderson could be really set for a singles feud if they can really pull him away.
Carl Anderson in Japan, was a legitimate singles champion, like, many times over.
Right. Yeah.
And I did see AJ Styles and Carl Anderson, like, I think it was 6 weeks ago or something, where they had a little bit of a confrontation.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, during this time, 2016, this was before they got released in 2020. They had the doctor gimmick because they injured Big E's balls. That was the entire gimmick of this match leading up with the New Day.
Literally had jars from Big E, Kofi, and Woods, and in Big E's jar, you see this little white ball in there. I'm like...
But it was nice seeing them back together. And then Balor came up. They did the too sweet,
like,
and Balor wouldn't do it.
And then Balor just walks away. They're like, oh.
But they still did their too sweet. And then we transition over to the side of SmackDown for SummerSlam 2016.
Miz
and my
versus
first
Apollo.
note on this is Mauro. Mauro Ranallo is definitely my favorite commentator of all time. When it comes to anything.
Bro, JBL sucks for bullying Mauro. I don't like JBL.
I mean, JBL is a great commentator, but he's not a good person, really. I mean, maybe he is. He's just not a... He's
not a team player
too much. But yeah, we had The Miz versus Apollo Crews. And at first, because this was 2016, and I haven't watched this in a while, I was thinking, is this Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz? Because I was thinking that would have been good. And when I realized it was Apollo Crews, the disappointment was just...
It was...
immaculate. But the Miz's mask was cool. He had the Phantom of the Opera mask on.
Yeah, that was very cool.
But I really wasn't interested. And then I heard David Otunga on commentary, and I got even more disinterested.
Why WWE?
There was something funny. He called Apollo Crews he's jacked and he's an acrobat. He's a jackrabat. Yeah, I mean, the only things that really happened was Miz hit his corner clothesline, where he puts his legs in between the corner after hitting the guy in the corner. And he got that transition into a belly-to-belly. That was pretty cool. This was a bathroom break match.
It was.
And The Miz beat him in less than 10 minutes, probably.
It was a bad match.
For an Intercontinental Championship SummerSlam match, it shouldn't be like this.
No.
And the build-up to this match was so
stupid.
bad. Miz called him
Apollo Creed.
That was the build-up.
That's literally all it was about, because Apollo was getting mad that Miz would call him Apollo Creed.
You go from Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks to this match, and it was just
stupid.
But at least the next match was AJ Styles versus John Cena.
Yes.
They were playing off the fact that Styles had help to win at Money in the Bank from Gallows and Anderson, and this was Styles versus Cena. This was no shenanigans.
Part 2.
Yeah, this was complete. Clean.
It was a clean down the middle
victory.
Match.
Yeah. Styles was in control at the beginning. He showboats, and Cena's up. He just punches him in the face. Yeah. Freaking JBL says there's nothing like a boot in a right hand. And dude, there was a suplex on the apron to John Cena, and that was devastating.
Yeah. One part I want to go back to, though, is there was a really funny part in between there, where John Cena, I believe, has AJ Styles in a side headlock and tries to throw him against the ropes. AJ Styles slides. Dude gets mad. He's like, "We've been through this before. Come on, man."
I remember that.
I was like, bruh. Dang. Just snapped on John.
I do want to say, though, and this is just so consistent, AJ Styles has the best sell to a back body drop.
Yes.
Every time he gets as high as possible. I don't know if it's because the guy is strong, but it has to be AJ Styles doing the work.
Yeah.
He's up there for, like, I mean, it's not just this match. Probably go back to TNA, go back to New Japan.
Probably has the same.
Go back to Royal Rumble 2024. He's been doing this for so long, and his back body drop, when he takes that, he goes so high, and he gets so much air. It's the best.
Looks so devastating.
Yeah, and he always makes his opponent look like the best.
Yeah.
Which, if you can have somebody on your roster
that makes that for everybody,
he makes everybody look good.
It's always a key asset.
That means you have a top star.
Keep AJ Styles until he retires. Please, do not get rid of him.
Cena was trying for the comeback. He got it. And then he tries for an AA, and AJ Styles landed on his feet. I know this has happened before, but I remember at the time watching this. This was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, he landed on his feet, and then he hit the Pele kick. And then he got the Styles Clash. But it just took him a little while to roll him over and got a near fall. And then there was an AA near fall, and then that's kind of the stalemate point of the match where both men are down. They both hit each other with their finishers. They're both tired. There was a great spot. A torture rack by AJ Styles. He got him in the torture rack just like Lex Luger. He jumped up and down a little bit,
and then turned him into a neck breaker.
It wasn't a neck breaker. It was a power bomb.
It was a power bomb.
Yeah, sorry. Into a power bomb.
Yeah, it was a power bomb. I don't even think you really see those type of moves being done today. Like, that move was crazy.
One move I was kind of like, wow, this is crazy. It's John Cena. First of all, his 5 moves of doom.
Moves of doom.
And obviously he's so skilled that he doesn't just do 5 moves. But during this match in particular, John Cena, he was pulling out all the stops. He had him up, in a slam position, and he just picked him up and then hit him with a cutter, which I was surprised by. That got a near fall. And then AJ Styles, he hit the Ushi-Goroshi, which, if you don't know, that's just an attitude adjustment, but he puts the knee out and hits their neck with it. And JBL kept calling it an AA.
They're like, no, it's not an AA, it's a modified. He hit his knee.
I thought that was annoying. I think that was a point where JBL was just interrupting Mauro Ranallo. He was doing this a lot during the show, but in particular, during this time, he just kept calling it the AA, and Mauro Ranallo kept trying to say Ushi-Goroshi, but JBL just wouldn't let him.
JBL was being a hater.
Yeah. There was a springboard 450 by... Who do you think this is by? It's not by John Cena.
This is by AJ Styles. If John Cena ever hits a springboard 450, I'm not going to believe it.
That's when he wins the world championship.
That's when he's going to win that 17th world championship. He's going to win with a springboard 450.
John Cena did hit a sunset flip bomb, which I was like, what the heck? Dude.
He hit some moves that you're like, huh? Are you a high flyer now, John?
I did notice every time AJ Styles got control of the match, the crowd went crazy. They didn't want to see John Cena win.
They're also like, we want to see AJ Styles show out.
This was a dream match, obviously for years, but in particular, everybody wanted AJ to win, which it's just nice to see. There was a guillotine leg drop near fall, which is it's where the guy is bent over and John Cena jumps from the top with the leg drop.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That was a near fall. AJ Styles hit a Frankensteiner, and then he got the phenomenal forearm. That was a near fall. And then John Cena got AJ Styles on top of the rope. Super AA.
Avalanche AA.
1, 2.
2.
I can't believe he kicked out of that.
Almost nobody, even at this time, nobody really ever kicked out of the Avalanche AAs or anything like that.
And John Cena looks so surprised.
He looks he looks partially like he's gonna cry or something. I'm like,
yeah, it was great.
He's just
acting.
So devastated. He was like, oh, what?
The Super A, I was surprised. I was looking like that too. But AJ Styles, he was able to get the Styles Clash. And then he doesn't go for the pin, which everybody was like, wait, what the heck? And then he hits him with the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles beats John Cena clean. This isn't Gallows and Anderson. No low blows, no weapons. AJ Styles beats John Cena, SummerSlam 2016, clean.
Proves himself right.
Yeah, but from this great, fantastic dream match that people have been wanting forever, it goes straight to A horrible match.
This match is so stupid.
It starts with Jon Stewart being in the middle of the ring, which nobody likes that.
Nobody likes Jon Stewart.
Nobody likes seeing Jon Stewart in WWE. But he introduces the New Day, and then it's the New Day versus, Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, the OC, the Club.
Like, nowadays, that would be a good match. But at this moment, with the different the gimmicks and the story that they had at this time, it was so bad.
This is a SummerSlam Tag Team Championship match. This should have been
one of the top matches of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been one of the top storylines / matches of the night. Like, and it was probably the worst.
Compared to how Triple H books Tag Team Championship matches, like, a Tag Team Championship match was in the main event of WrestleMania
You can tell what Vince would book versus what Triple H would book. Because if this was during Triple H's time, it would not be storyline.
It would have been a great match.
Right.
But, yeah, the story really took the prestige from the match. I didn't care who won, but there was a great elbow drop by Xavier Woods, which Michael Cole compared it to Macho Man, which
is very
accurate. It was like 3/4 across the ring.
Yeah,
and it's that springboard elbow.
CM Punk also does his elbow based off of Macho Man.
Yeah,
but it reminds me of the way CM Punk does his flying elbow drop.
Yeah, but most of the match was just Gallows and Anderson trying to keep either Xavier or Kofi from making the tag, and then. They hit the Magic Killer on, I think, Xavier.
I think it was Xavier.
And John gets in the way for the save. Jon Stewart does. And Gallows and Anderson completely disregard Kofi and Xavier from existing. And just go after Jon Stewart.
Which I would do the same.
They tried to give him ring post-itis, which I thought that was the only time I was happy during this match.
Yeah, because then if we got to see his bells ring.
Yeah.
That would have been some of the best stuff.
And then Big E comes out, makes the save, and for real, disqualification win by Gallows and Anderson because Big E attacks.
But it's not really the best part of the night. If Jon Stewart would have gotten the ring post-itis, that would have been the best part of the night.
That would have been better than AJ and Cena.
Yeah, that would have been better than the whole match, the whole storyline.
Big E grabs the jar of testicles and fucking takes a drink from it. And then spits it out like Triple H.
He said, nope.
It was not a good match. I didn't like it. It was horrible.
It was funny at the end, but the match was terrible.
But this next match, WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line.
This was a good match.
Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler, and I'm going to disagree with you on that. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Okay,
I liked how much time they gave them.
I don't think Dean Ambrose felt like a world champion at the time.
Yeah.
He comes out with the world championship and a black wife beater.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
the way they made his appearance, yeah, I agree.
I get it's Dean Ambrose, but look at him now, Jon Moxley. I feel like after he left the Shield, if they would have created him into Jon Moxley, it would have been great. Oh my goodness,
he would be one of the top stars right now.
He would still be in WWE,
and he probably would be competing with Roman.
But either way, the story of this match was that Dolph Ziggler never gets his chance, so he's getting his chance for the World Championship, which he does deserve it.
Which I thought was crazy how he got it, because he did a six-pack challenge.
Yeah.
They did it with John Cena,
AJ
Styles, Baron Corbin,
Kevin Owens,
Chris Jericho. I think that's right. And then Ziggler. And they have Ziggler win. I mean, I think that's a good decision because it's an underrated person and it gives you something fresh. But it's like, what?
My thing about this was that Dean Ambrose. It kind of feels like if he doesn't look like a world champion.
No, he doesn't at this time.
I mean, yeah, people did love him. Like, he was a fan favorite. He just didn't
have the look. He looked lazy.
I feel like if you're going to have Dean Ambrose be world champion and look like this, he has to be in the match with a huge star to get a win over. But with Dolph Ziggler, since he's the underdog coming into a world championship match, he needs to have it to where that champion is established. Right. Having these two do that match where they both kind of need a win, Which, yeah, Dean Ambrose won, which you expected.
Right.
I don't know. It just didn't feel right for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I guess my thing is I like how much time that they gave them. Like, for somebody like Dean and somebody like Dolph, whose styles, I think, mesh pretty well.
Yeah.
I think the amount of time they gave them was good.
Well, think about it.
I think the storyline was a little iffy, and it kind of didn't, like you said, didn't make Dean look very strong with how they made him appear.
Think about it. 2016, Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. That's an Intercontinental Championship match. And they had this for the World Championship in the middle of the card.
Why in the middle of the card?
Because
I know why, but like
it just wasn't like that. Couldn't have been the main event of SummerSlam.
It's so weird.
But I do want to mention, this is a fun fact that they said on commentary, that this was Dolph Ziggler's 50th pay-per-view match.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even catch that.
But yeah, I think at this moment Dean felt like a mid-carder.
He looked like a mid-carder, honestly.
Yeah.
Appearance-wise, not with how they did in the ring. Just appearance, he made him look like a mid-carder. Yeah,
but actually getting to the match, there was a nice drop kick off of a jump. I think that Dolph Ziggler hit.
Dean Ambrose was trying to go for
double axe handle.
I think an axe handle off the top rope, and Dolph lands a nice, clean drop kick to the chest.
There was a glam slam by Ambrose, which looked devastating coming from a man. I mean, Beth Phoenix makes it look devastating, but he did a sit out glam slam. It was great.
Yeah.
And then Dean mocks Dolph Ziggler by doing the Sweet Chin music stomps, tuning up the band.
Walks up to him, fakes a leg kick.
And then there's a satellite DDT by Dolph Ziggler, which
I always loved his satellite DDTs because he would get so much airtime. Sometimes he would stick up there for a minute before bringing him down.
That got a near fall, and then they did some sequences, and then they hit a double cross body on each other in the middle of the ring. That was the stalemate moment of this match. And this wasn't like more than 15 minutes.
No, it wasn't a very.
Dean swivels the hips like he's Rick Rude, obviously mocking Dolph. There was a sleeper hold by Dolph Ziggler, and this was a great counter. Dean Ambrose just jumped out of the ring. I've never seen that.
Dude literally looks around. He's like, all right, I'm going to do this. Literally runs with Dolph on his shoulders and just sends his body through the ropes. I'm like, I guess that works.
Back in the ring, Dean Ambrose tried to hit the dirty deeds, and Dolph Ziggler countered it into a zigzag. He got the near fall, and then, for real, he got the near fall. Ambrose got back in control. It's like Dean Ambrose had zero ring IQ this entire match.
Yeah,
he just wasn't doing anything. Like, he would hit a big move and then just start like standing around and going to the top rope.
Anything. He just looks stupid.
And then he's on the top rope. He's going for something. Dolph Ziggler climbs to the top like he's LA Knight.
I think it was an elbow drop or something like that.
Either way, Dolph Ziggler tries to counter it. He tries to do a face plant off the top, and then Dean Ambrose catches himself. Dirty deeds. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose retains.
I like that spot. That was a good spot.
That was a good spot, but
the match was okay. It wasn't great.
According to J-Dog, this match is the best match of the night.
I did not say that.
Natalia.
I said it was okay.
Bliss, Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella. I didn't watch this match.
The intro was stupid.
The reason I didn't watch this match is because it meant nothing.
It didn't mean anything, yeah.
It's the same thing as like the Divas era.
They legit didn't have a promo package or anything for this. It was just, you get a 6-women tag match. And so you had Naomi, Carmella, and Becky Lynch. I believe they came out first, and then...
Well, they were supposed to have...
it was supposed to be Eva Marie, but they had the voiceover be like, "Oh, she's exhausted."
That was so cringy.
I was like, she's exhausted from, I forget the word, hostile WWE fans. She has taken a vacation to the British Isles. I'm like...
They're doing this cringe voiceover at SummerSlam.
I'm like, bro.
This is the second biggest show of the entire year.
I'm like, bro, shut up. Who's their new partner? And then finally, what's his name? Something Hamilton. The ring announcer. Greg Hamilton was like, and their new partner,
Nikki Bella.
It was Nikki Bella.
I don't care.
It really doesn't matter. Like, it's a good return. Yay. Good for her. But like,
okay, Nikki Bella got the pinfall. I put didn't care, shouldn't have been on SummerSlam. This should have been on SmackDown the week
It should have
before.
been SmackDown before, and they should have put something else here.
But moving on to something that's good quality. Rusev got interviewed, and I completely just kind of blocked Rusev out of my mind because he hasn't been in WWE for a while. He's Miro in AEW, and he's not really used. But, dude, there's just something about him. He feels like an 80s foreign wrestler. Like a legitimate good 80s foreign wrestler. Like he's the... He obviously did go up against John Cena before. But, great. Just, there's something about him, man. There's something about Rusev that makes him special and makes him... he looks like he's made for WWE.
Right.
Or wrestling in general,
Something that's funny about this is it did not age well because Lana or CJ Perry and Rusev are no longer together.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They got divorced.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I did want to say that the lead-ups to most of these matches just sucked. There was no story behind them. AJ Styles and John Cena, that was a good lead-up.
That was probably the only one that had a good build-up.
The only reason it was a good lead-up is because of their careers so far.
Their careers, and they had already had a match at Money in the Bank from the month before.
So it was a rematch. Charlotte versus Sasha was a good lead-up because that was another rematch.
Yeah.
Rusev versus Roman Reigns was literally, oh my god, look, it's your wedding, and I just put your wife's face in cake.
Ha ha ha.
And Seth Rollins versus the Demon Finn Balor, this was a good lead-up.
Yes.
This was, obviously, because it's going to be a good lead-up because it's the inaugural World Championship match.
Right.
But this championship, I remember at the time, people were pissed because it just looked like shit. And it did look like shit, and I'm happy it got replaced.
It got replaced by titles that don't...
It looked...
the titles now do look a little better, but not very much.
The blue belt looked a lot better than the red one.
Yeah, the red one kind of looks stupid.
The red one looked like a
toy belt, yeah.
It looked like an off-brand, like...
It looked like a child could have made it.
Vince McMahon's dementia mind made it.
Yeah.
So basically. But, Seth versus the Demon... I loved both of their attires. Seth Rollins with the black and green.
I wish,
obviously, Balor being the demon.
Right.
And he had,
wish you would have done the full body.
He had a mixture of black, red, and white with words all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, it was great. They start off the match. Balor immediately hits a shotgun dropkick and sets up for the coup de grace.
With Seth Rollins rolls out.
Rollins rolls out. Balor hits a huge dive. And they did a great job of making, this is the transitional period for Balor from NXT to the main roster.
Right, he came.
They did a good job of actually telling the story of the demon.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like it was Finn Balor. It felt like a new character, which is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's Finn Balor's image of what he likes.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty good. Seth Rollins, he slides out underneath. Like, Balor's on the apron, he slides out underneath, and this is the infamous spot where he grabs Balor and hits that barricade bomb, and Finn Balor completely destroys his shoulder.
I think it looked like he tried to catch himself, and he only got one arm on there.
I don't know whose fault this was.
I think it was more Balor's, but I don't think it was really anybody's fault,
because, well, the buckle bomb is a very...
dangerous move.
It's a dangerous move, like what happened to Sting the year before at, I think it was at SummerSlam 2015. Maybe.
No.
I can't remember.
He didn't get hurt at SummerSlam. It was WrestleMania.
No, it wasn't WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was. They got hurt?
He got hurt in the match with Seth Rollins. Sting didn't face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Remember, it was like...
No, you're right. It is SummerSlam.
It was Seth versus Sting, then Seth versus Cena.
No, you're right. I was thinking the wrong thing.
But yeah, Seth Rollins, he hit that barricade bomb. I think it was Balor's fault mainly because he just tried to... Like, I'm not saying
he tried to
it's
catch
his fault.
himself.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I just want to take the blame off of Rollins because...
He was just doing a spot that he was supposed to do, and Balor just put his arm up, and it caused him to...
Completely destroyed his shoulder, though.
Yeah.
But he did pop it back in place. It's just, it was brutal.
Nasty. Yeah.
But yeah, he did that. Seth was in complete control after that. There was a huge frog splash near fall, which was just amazing. There was a nice sequence where Balor reversed the pedigree, And then there was a chop, an enziguri by Rollins, and then a Pele kick by Balor.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, then there was a 1916 near fall, and he tried for the coup de grace, and Seth Rollins caught him into a triangle hold, and that was a good submission.
I wasn't sure what was going on there at first, and then I saw that Seth Rollins had pulled him in. I'm like, oh, he locked in a triangle off of that.
Yeah. Buckle bomb, super kick, near fall. There was a small package driver near fall, which Seth Rollins doesn't really pull out that small package driver.
Yeah, I think they said on commentary he hasn't done that sort of move since he was in NXT.
Legitimately, this is the only time I've seen that other than on the WWE 2K video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was a stomp to the back of the neck. Near fall. That wasn't like the curb stomp. That was Finn Balor's coup de grace from the top to the back of Seth Rollins, who was bent over.
Yeah.
And then Seth Rollins was able to... He was going for the coup de grace again, and then Rollins was able to reverse it into a pedigree. He got a near fall off of that. And then Seth Rollins deep into the match, he's going for a huge move, pulls out a Phoenix Splash. Mm-hmm. And Balor gets out of the way. Rollins lands on his feet. Rollins hit this amazing superplex pedigree combo. He was going for the pedigree, and it got countered into Balor basically able to get control. Then he went to the top rope. Rollins was kind of bent over, and Balor hit him with the coup de grace to the back, and that knocked Rollins down. He tried for the coup de grace, and Rollins got out of the way. And then eventually, Balor was able to get the shotgun dropkick into the corner, coup de grace, and then Finn Balor is the first ever Universal Champion. And, just an amazing match. It was really good, and obviously huge stakes on the line for the inaugural Universal Championship, and it's just a shame what happened the night after when Balor had to relinquish it due to that injury caused in the match. But yeah, for what it was a great match, but what happened afterwards, it doesn't really take it away from it, but it just kind of sucks. And yeah, after this we were supposed to have Rusev versus Roman Reigns for the US Championship. And Rusev made his entrance. Roman Reigns was coming out. When he got to the apron, Rusev attacked him. And he basically kept attacking him, kept just beating Roman down. And eventually, Roman was able to get the upper hand. And Roman just beat the hell out of Rusev for a good, 5 minutes. And all the referees came out trying to get Roman away from him, but Roman just wasn't having it. He was getting referees out of the way, just beating the hell out of him, and eventually Rusev, he was favoring his ribs, just saying his ribs hurt, he couldn't breathe. Roman went to the back, and the referees were trying to help Rusev up, and they got him up. He was about to go to the back, and Roman Reigns came right back out and just hit a huge spear. Just fantastic spear, and, I don't know what the point of having this happen was, because I liked that they didn't actually have the match, just because there was a lot of matches going on, and right before Lesnar versus Orton, which was the main event, but they could have done so much with it afterwards. This was obviously Rusev and Roman Reigns, their 2016 rivalry. I think that went into 2017. They could have done so much with having Roman. He was acting like a heel. But Rusev, he had the crowd behind him so much like a face. They could have made Roman a heel and Rusev a face. They could have done a double turn. They could have done so much, but they just didn't. And luckily, we were able to see Roman Reigns get his Tribal Chief run, actually be a heel. But they could have done it here, and not necessarily the Tribal Chief run or whatever, but we've seen Rusev become a face with Rusev Day later on, a couple years later. But it was so much potential here, and it was just a shame to see that didn't come to fruition. But, yeah, it was a great segment. A great segment between Roman and Rusev. They didn't actually have the match. It was just a brawl, which, sometimes you need a brawl. Sometimes you don't want to have a 5-star match. You just want a slobber knocker of two beefy men slapping big man meat. And, that's what I enjoy about America. Main event time.
It is now time for the main event of the evening.
This match was a dream match for a while.
Yes.
Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, and the story of this just wrote itself. Both of these men started in the 2002 class of OVW, the rookie class for the WWE.
OG, essentially the OG NXT.
And every single person from that class made a name for themselves.
Yes.
In one way or another, you had Shelton Benjamin, you had Batista, John Cena, Orton, Lesnar, and there's probably somebody else that...
There's probably plenty of other people that you could throw a name out there from OVW.
But those are the main five that are really, like
out there and have
historied in WWE.
Yeah.
But these two had never fought. They said they've never fought. I don't know if they have. I think they may have had a SmackDown match.
I think they said that they haven't really... Excuse me.
But either way...
They've never really fought, but it's always been a dream match of Randy's. Like, he's always wanted to fight Brock Lesnar.
Well, think about it. You would have had, in 2002, 2004, if you would have had that match, it would have been Legend Killer versus... It wouldn't have even been Legend Killer, because Orton wasn't Legend Killer yet. Yeah. It would have been, Rookie versus Next Big Thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what the name was.
It is the Beast Incarnate
versus the Viper, or the Apex Predator.
The Apex Predator, Randy Orton. And... damn, the first thing I have to say, Orton looked a lot taller than Lesnar, which I was not expecting. And I never actually watched this match other than the ending. I watched it more recently, obviously.
I think I remember watching this live, and I was like, jeez.
Orton's like 6'5", 6'6". Lesnar's about 6'2", 3.
Yeah.
It's noticeable. It's the same thing with Edge. You don't understand how tall Orton and Edge are until you see them compared to Triple H or John Cena.
Right.
And they're both huge guys, but Edge and Orton make them look short.
Small.
But yeah, we had immediately Orton looked for the RKO and Lesnar just freaking threw him. Like
Lesnar was just an absolute beast in this match.
Yeah.
Just tossing Randy around like a rag doll.
Suplex City, bitch. That's what Lesnar said. Essentially 8 suplexes, I think, in this entire match. Maybe 7. I'm not sure. Not as many as SummerSlam 2015 when Lesnar just destroyed John Cena with, what was it, like 15 German suplexes?
I think it was 15
16.
Or 16.
I think they said
it was
16. Because they referred to that a lot on commentary. And Orton was slammed into the table, and he slammed him into the table and it didn't break. And then Orton was kind of like...
he went over the top of the barricade. And then Brock is just like, you get away from this. Literally grabs him by his shoulders and just throws him through the announce table.
Remember how we said that Orton's taller than Lesnar? Orton weighs...
about the same.
He's not a Ricochet or a Rey Mysterio.
No, he's a big dude.
Where Brock Lesnar can throw you around. He just throws Orton.
Like literally grabs him and throws him over and through the announce
This
table.
wasn't a belly-to-belly or a German. This was just grab him by the fucking armpits and throw him through a table.
It's like throwing a kid up in the air, but you're just like, you don't come back down to catch him. He just goes.
Yeah. Then there was an RKO onto the table. It didn't go through. And then Orton was able to hit Vintage Orton, which is that DDT off of the middle rope. And then Orton did hit him with that RKO. That got a near fall. And then he started looking for the punt. And obviously, if that punt hits, it is over. He was looking for it. Brock Lesnar caught him in the F5. That was a near fall. That was the stalemate moment of this match where they're both down.
This is where Brock is just like, I'm done. Dude takes off his gloves.
Yeah, this was probably a 15-minute match.
Yeah.
Something like that. Orton...
But,
he's in trouble when Lesnar takes those gloves off.
And he just goes over him, starts landing, hammer throws, and just starts punching him. Forearm.
Then he elbows him in the face.
And then elbows him, and he just starts pouring out blood.
And
it's nasty.
Yeah, you could see it on the screen. You
can literally see the gash in his head from where he was busted open.
You could see it as a viewer, but Brock Lesnar was over top of him, so the crowd couldn't really see it. When Orton did get his head, to visible, the crowd was like, "Oh my!"
It was that Cody Rhodes moment when he showed that torn pec. It was just once they panned to how much blood there was, it was just like, ooh,
for real. It was.
Because you were like, okay, he's busted open. Then they pan to that corner where you can see the pool of blood, and you're just like, oh my goodness.
It was like if they wouldn't have, started taking care of him, that would have been like, he could have bled out, kind of. Like, it was
how much he was bleeding, and he was bleeding from the head. Yeah, he very could have, very well could have.
Yeah, and he just keeps beating on him until the referee calls for a TKO.
Mike Chioda is just like, stop.
And Paul Heyman's like, Brock, what are you doing? Stop. Even Lesnar's own manager is like,
Paul Heyman's
you're
even
going
in shock.
way
He's
too
like,
far. And then
"Dude."
Shane O'Mac comes out. You know, he's like, okay, you need to stop. You need to get out of my ring. And then Lesnar picks him up, F5, and then Paul Heyman's like, oh my God, what did you do, Brock? What did you do?
That actually happened?
Yeah, Shane O'Mac came out.
I didn't even see that.
He was trying to help his SmackDown star. If Lesnar keeps beating him, he's not going to have a superstar
He said,
anymore.
oh, if I'm going to beat up Randy Orton, you're going down to...
Yeah, Shane O'Mac steps up to the big dog, and the big dog lays him down.
I must have missed that.
Even Heyman's telling him to stop. And
kind of mad I missed that. That would have been funny to watch.
so that is the biggest show of the summer for 2016. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton ending the night off. Multiple match of the year contenders.
Yeah.
Some very bad matches as well. You know, we had Charlotte versus Sasha, great match. Cena versus Styles, great match. Orton versus Lesnar, pretty good match. Then just some shitty ones. Apollo Crews versus The Miz. That 6-woman tag match, which meant nothing. It was just...
They put too much filler in this match. Like,
in this show?
Yeah, sorry, I said match. Yeah, show. They put too much filler in this show. Like, you should have more good matches than meh matches. But you should still have those meh mid-card matches.
You need at least one bathroom break match.
Right. But, like, they had 3 or 4. That's not good compared to how many matches.
I mean,
you have
compared
on
to
the card.
nowadays when Triple H is booking, it's just so noticeable. If you go back, like it's legitimately like I'm watching WWE currently, and then I go back and I'm like, oh
What
my
in the
gosh,
world?
this sucks.
Vince McMahon was crappy.
Like
at
even
booking.
for the good matches, the build-ups are so much less like. They just suck compared to what today's standard is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
But we will see you guys in the next one. Watch out for the WrestleMania 30 2014 review. This was SummerSlam 2016, and we'll see you next time.
Next time, see ya.
Meatballs.
Up in it, bitch, we tryna get higher. Put it back, I cooking a rack, me eating that pack of meal and a stopper, holding it down, pull up in the primary real, that just stop faking the cap. Yeah, killing the trapper, coming back, I'll break new loose, keep up in the track, I'm feeling the beachy, burning, healing, marketing, typing, baking me screech. Don't clap in the sea, air track and pee, I'm master love, but fiend deep, I'm switching my game, take passion, see, even with my shot, no line to see.